Hi, it's Dee with Critical Break. I wanted to go over some things that have been going on the month of December. Today is the 20th of December, 2018. And I wanted to go over some things that I've seen happening, not only in the news, but in some other areas and arenas. But uh, this directly involves a lot about what the codes have been talking about, um, a great deal actually. So we'll get started with that. I'll do a separate stream where I talk about the codes I've gotten recently and the visions and things like that. That'll be a total separate stream. This one's just going to be going over what I see. If you hadn't been keeping up. Normally, I don't pay attention to the news, but since so much was in the codes dealing with December specifically and what will be happening in 2019, um, I thought I would share some things that I noticed anyway. So I'm going to start with this. Um, I had made note in a prior stream about the red heifer um, that they have there in Israel, in Jerusalem, because they're working on trying to fulfill a prophecy there, and not only do they have the red heifer, but also um, the plans for the third temple are released, and they also did an offering at that area recently. And other channels are keeping their eye on this as well. I think that's why so much is ramping up this month, partially. That's just partially. Um, so I wanted to make note of that. Then, you know, this is food for thought. Um, this was in the news a day or two ago. A gal lost her job at a school job after refusing to sign a pro-Israel pledge. This is not the first time I've heard of this going on. Um, why would it be in the United States of America? Hear me out and just think about this. Why would it be in the United States of America that you would have to sign a pro-Israel or pro-anything pledge to keep your job? Think about this. If they came to your work and said, we're going to fire you unless you sign this, does this make sense to you? There has been an infiltration into our government, into every, like I said, everything has been infiltrated. And this is just an example of that infiltration. Do you have any, let's see, I wonder if she was approached to sign a pro Canada pledge to keep her job or pro Mexico pledge to keep her job. If you really sit back and soak this in, really soak it in, something's very wrong with this, and we all know it. We all know it. There are forces on this planet that want to squash the true Christian believers. They want to squash the Jesus and Mary bloodline. They want to squash your rights. You don't see them bringing pro Russia or pro China or pro England or pro any country pledges so that you can keep your job in America. Let's be serious about this. This country has been infiltrated, and not by just one particular side that wants to crush the Christians. You have to remember these people do not believe in the man that died on that cross, but they want you to go against your values, your religion, and everything else to sign pledges so that you can retain your work. You must ask why. Always don't forget to ask that question ever. Everybody's so blindly forgiving of all these other things that go on. I'll get to that a little bit more here in a little bit. But I wanted to bring that to your attention. Because there's things at play here that are coming to a head. Like I talked about in the last stream, that I feel like I'm in a pressure cooker. And that's because there's a lot of very, very, very nefarious things going on that are being exposed. Part of my mission is to expose the evil and the infiltration on the planet in general, but to make you all aware and wake up to what's going on around us. Many of the churches have been infiltrated, and they are trying to sell you a bill of goods that back 100 years ago, 200 years ago, would not have been received at all. But just like evil is, it's insidious, and it slowly works its way in. And you have to keep that. You have to be forever vigilant. Forever vigilant. Anyway, we'll move on. As the codes have been saying, Rome is going down. And that the evil and the infiltration into the churches would be exposed. And it is being exposed in a big way. This was just a few days ago. What day was this? Does it say? The 19th. Catholic Church in Illinois withheld names of at least 500 priests accused of abuse, the Attorney General says. So the Attorney General in Illinois is looking into this. This isn't the only state. This is every state in the Union. This is everywhere on the planet. not just the US. This is everywhere. Keep in mind, the people that attend the Catholic Church and many of the priests that do work there are good people. They have nothing to do with this except for the fact that by sending their money to the Vatican is supporting this this atrocity and abuse. Withheld names of at least 500 just in Illinois. At least 500. This is one state. Do you not see what is right in front of our very eyes? The good Catholic people, the priests that are doing their darndest to keep their churches together right now because they are crumbling. And the Vatican, Rome, you send your money to them, and that is what is perpetuating this problem. Gabriel, it says right in the codes that he gives me, Rome will fall. The Vatican will fall because of the evil that it let in. The greed, the power, and they let evil in. Power and control. So my hope is that the good Catholics and the priests that are really, their hands are being tied by the Vatican. You need to untie your hands. Pope Francis accepts resignation of Los Angeles bishop accused of misconduct. This is December 19th. Jesuits sent abusive priests to retire on Gonzaga's campus. To this house, the Cardinal Bow House. Bow Nia. I'm going to read this real quick because this has everything to do with the Native Americans. On the surface, Father James Poole seemed like a cool priest in Nome, Alaska. He founded a Catholic mission radio station that broadcasted his Jesuit sermons alongside contemporary pop hits. A 1978 story in People magazine called Poole Western Alaska's hippest DJ, coming at you with rock and roll and religion. Behind the radio station's closed door, Poole was a serial sexual predator. He abused at least 21 women and girls. And this is the ones that actually come forward. Most of them are too horrified to come forward. So this is just an inkling of what is going on here. At least one was 6 years old. One Alaskan Native woman says he impregnated her when she was 16, then forced her to get an abortion and blame her father for raping her. And her father went to prison. Like so many other Catholic priests around the country, Pooley's inappropriate conduct with young girls was well known to his superiors. A Jesuit supervisor once warned a church official that Pooley has a fixation on sex, an obsession, some sort of mental aberration that makes him see sex everywhere. But the last chapter in his story reveals a twist in the Catholic abuse scandal. Pooley was sent to live out his retirement years on Gonzaga University campus in Spokane, Washington. For more than three decades, Cardinal Bia House on Gonzaga's campus served as a retirement repository for at least 20 Jesuit priests accused of sexual misconduct that predominantly took place in small, isolated Alaska Native villages and on Indian reservations across the Northwest. In an investigation by the Northwest News Network and reveal from the Center for Investigative Reporting has found. A trove of internal Jesuit correspondence shows a long-standing pattern of Jesuit officials in Oregon province, an administrative area that included Washington, Oregon, Montana, Idaho, and Alaska, privately acknowledging issues of inappropriate sexual behavior, but not releasing the information to the public, which avoided scandal and protected the perpetrators from prosecution. This article was provided to the Associated Press by the nonprofit news outlet Reveal from the Center for Investigative Reporting. So, okay. When the abuse was discovered, the priests would be reassigned, sometimes to another Native community. Once the abusive priests reached retirement age, the Jesuits moved them to Cardinal Bay House on Gonzaga's campus to another Jesuit residence to comfortably spend the rest of their lives in relative peace and safety. The university administration did not respond to requests for an interview to answer whether administration or student body were aware of the presence of the known sexual offenders on campus. The last known abusive priest was moved out of Cardinal Bay House in 2016, Jesuit records show, if those records are accurate. Father John Whitney, the former leader of the Oregon province, who ordered Pooley to move into Cardinal Bay House, said that Jesuit order is obligated to provide for priests in retirement. He said it was the only facility in the province where past offenders like Pooley, when in his 80s, could be contained effectively while also receiving medical care. Pooley resided at Cardinal Bay House from 2003 to 2015. If he had been allowed to live independently without church oversight, he surely would have abused more people, even at his advanced age, Whitney said in an interview. The house, Whitney said, is a retirement community where he could be monitored. In a pair of depositions in 2005, Whitney said he did not inform Gonzaga administrators or police in Spokane about Pooley's history after moving him to Cardinal Bay House, Bia House, or whatever it's called. A Spokane Police Department spokesperson said that they had not received any reports either from Gonzaga or the Jesuit order about allegations against any residents of the Cardinal Bia House. Non-abusing Jesuits also lived in Cardinal Bia House, but there were specific safety plans for abusers that banned sexually abusive priests from commingling with students. The Oregon province would not release copies of the plans. While we learned of no reports of residents abusing Gonzaga students, the restrictions were not rigorously enforced. In a deposition in one of the several lawsuits filed against him, Pooley said he regularly went to the school library and basketball games. Pooley said he met a female student alone in the living room of Cardinal Bia House, and when she came to interview him for a report on Alaska, Student journalists and filmmakers in 2010 and 11 were also permitted to interview residents, including Joseph Obersteiner, who worked in Native communities in Montana, Washington, and Idaho. He was accused of sexual misconduct against a minor. We love being right in the middle of campus, Obersteiner told the students or school student newspaper. It's a blessing to see the active energy and happiness of youth every day. Cardinal Bia House is a modest, low-risk brick building with large windows in front and a small carport behind. It resembles an unremarkable office building, save for the white statue of an angel-winged saint standing guard over the front entrance. In a recent crisp autumn day, a prankster had slipped a hand-rolled cigarette between the statue's fingers. While the building appears on campus maps and is listed at the campus directory, it's not officially part of the private Jesuit university. Cardinal Bia House is owned by the Jesuit Order of the Catholic Church. Pooley was joined at Cardinal Bia House by other priests whose abuse was known, often for years, by the Jesuit order. Father James Jacobson, sent there in the mid-2000s, was accused of sexual abuse by members of the Alaskan Native community of Nelson Island. He claimed he had never forced anyone to have sex, saying in a deposition that he had consensual sex with 7 Native women. He admitted to fathering 4 children and using church funds to hire prostitutes in Anchorage and Fairbanks when he was principal of a Jesuit boarding school in Glennon. Another priest, Henry Hargreaves, accused of sexually assaulting young boys, was sent to Cardinal Bia House in 2003 and subsequently allowed to lead prayer services in at least 4 Native American communities on 2 reservations in Washington state. The abusive Jesuits at Cardinal Bia House were part of the Oregon province's outsized problem with sexual misconduct. The province had 92 Jesuits accused of sexual abuse, by far the most of any province in the country, according to data we compiled from church records, a database maintained by advocates for sex abuse victims, and the information released earlier this month by the Jesuits. In addition, about 80% of accused abusers worked in Native communities in Oregon province. Pooley has been described as charismatic, outgoing, and narcissistic, so he was perfectly suited for his role as the voice of KNOM, the radio station he founded in 1971. Elsie Boudreau, an Alaskan Native, was a station volunteer and one of Pooley's victims. From the time she was 10 until she was 16, she volunteered at KNOM. Bordeaux said in an interview that when she was 11 or 12, during a Saturday music request show in which they were alone in the studio, Pooley would kiss her on the lips and fondle her, something she didn't realize was wrong until she was much older. He also made her sit on his lap and lie on top of his body. For Bordeaux, it was a slap in the face that Pooley lived out his retirement comfortably until he died earlier this year. To me, that says is they are taken care of, Bordeaux said. They are protected by the Catholic Church when the victims are never protected. The Jesuits' deep roots in Native communities. The Catholic Church was deeply embedded in the Native communities of Alaska and Indian reservations in the Northwest. In the early 1900s, the Jesuits had established a school and an orphanage in Elsie Boudreau's hometown and predominantly Alaskan Native community of St. Mary's in the Yukon, I'm not even going to try, Delta. Jesuits, officially called the Society of Jesus, are a Catholic religious order founded in the 1500s. While Jesuits can work in various roles from parish priests to teachers, and the order is known for its academic and socially conscious bent. There are more than 100 Jesuit high schools, colleges, and universities in North America. Jesuit priests were formidable figures in small Native villages, presiding over daily life with mass to marriages, baptisms to burials, even teaching catechism lessons where some of the abuse of the youngest victims took place. Boudreaux said she viewed her Catholicism as more central to her identity than being yuppic. That religious identity was shattered by her abuse. The whole premise behind the Catholic Church and their mission with the native people, with indigenous people, was to strip them of their identity. And that's what I've been telling you all. When they came, like the Lakotas and all those children, they cut their hair off and they put them in these Catholic schools and reprogrammed them. They stole their religion, they stole their identity, they stole their heritage, they stole everything from them because they wanted them squashed, because they knew what these people, if allowed to, would tell the truth about what was really happening in the world. And so sexual abuse was one way. And it's intentional when you have an institution that is aware of problem priests, perpetrator priests, and moves them to places where they believe that people are less than, where they believe the people there would not speak out. And in many cases, that is true. You know how many have not come forward? Just because the shame, guilt, disgust, you name it. Anyway, I'm not going to read the rest of this, but you get the general idea. The good Catholic people need to put a stop to this. And the only way you're going to be able to is to cut ties with Rome, and you all know it. If you want to save your church, you're going to have to. You have to quit supporting the ones that are enabling all of this to occur. Vatican urged to reveal status of ousted U.S. Archbishop. Because they just shuffle them around. They don't get in trouble except for having to move to somewhere else where they can abuse somebody else. Vatican Committee, church credibility at risk over sex abuse. Well, no kidding. You know how many times this has come up in the news over the last, I don't know, 40 years? And nothing was ever done about it. Nothing was ever done about it. It just quietly went away. It's not going away this time. Rome will fall. The Vatican will fall because they allowed evil in their door. Pope shakes up Vatican communications operations. This was 2 days ago. This talks about how he put 2 people they weren't expecting into positions of editorial director. This is an effort to try to gloss over and smear. By the way, it talks about Vatican Radio. If you look up, which does a whole bunch of multilingual broadcasts that go out all over the world, okay? All you have to do is look up some stuff about Vatican Radio and how where that transmitter's at made a bunch of people super sick And the government finally told them to cut it out. And they said they did. They lied. They lied. It's still going on. If you don't wake up and see the evil that's right in front of you, then then the entire organization will be lost. The whole thing will be lost. You know, the Pope did something, the people in the United States had done the priests here in the United States were trying to put together some sort of a conference or something where they were going to deal with the problem that was going on right here in the United States. And the Pope blocked it, tied their hands to keep them from solving the problem. You have to ask yourself, why would he do that? I guarantee you, the Vatican, Rome, is hoping that this is just going to silently go away like all the other times. That's what they want. The Catholic people are going to have to say no for once, put a stop to this. Because as long as you're paying your 10% or whatever it is that they require, you're supporting it. And in doing that, in supporting it, it makes you just as guilty. You must stop supporting this. And the only way that's going to happen is to cut off Rome. Cut them off. Vatican Committee, church credibility at risk over sexual abuse. Evidently, they're putting together some sort of a summit. Supposedly to fix this. If you believe that, then you're sadly mistaken. Cardinal Pell, top advisor to Pope Francis, found guilty of historical sexual offenses. This goes right up to the person next to the Pope. Right up to the Pope. I feel really badly for the people, but you must stop supporting this. This evil that was let in the door. There's no way to stop it unless you just cut it off. You know, all of these that are being found guilty, if it were anybody else, they would be in jail. But no, they get to go retire. and live out their lives on campuses with students. Are you kidding me? You all need to get mad and get it over with. This is done. All right. There's some more things I wanted to share with you all. Close some of these out. And this what I showed you today is just a fraction of the stuff going on. Just a fraction. That's not the one I wanted to show you. And like we said, evil's going to get exposed where it's at. And it's not just the Catholic Church, not just the Vatican and Rome. Celebrity Brazilian healer John of God, once featured by Oprah, surrenders on sexual abuse charges. Oh my. Evil will be exposed and will continue to be. Okay, what have we got next? We've got, oh, here's some more fun. Megachurch pastor passionately defends giving wife a $200,000 Lamborghini. Do you not see what's wrong? Do people not understand what's wrong here? Now, some more interesting. Remember, I told you all in a past stream, those of you that have been watching the stream for a while, that to me, Trump sounded like a mob boss. I'm not the only one that has that impression. Oh, I hate to tell everybody this, but if you're looking for politicians, or at least most of them, at least minimum 95% of them are not going to do anything to help you. Oh my goodness. Anyway, he's not the only one that saw that person the way I see that person. I wanted to share something really, really, after all that ugly and all that evil, having to think about it or be exposed to it. I want you all to keep something really, really always in your mind all the time. All those good people. When you go out and you go to the store, and that sweet person that strikes up a conversation or just says hi passing by or gives you a smile, or, the heart-based souls on this planet, they're there. And we all need to keep in mind to keep ourselves as much in our heart space as we can. Keep our inner child alive. This popped up. This grandmother got scammed out of some money. She lives here in the same town I do. And some viewers donated to help make up what she had lost because of these scammers. And she even told the news people, "Oh, that, they've already donated, enough to cover what I lost." And the viewers didn't care. They continued donating anyway. And she was able to buy herself a washer and dryer and get her car out of the shop. Somebody paid the bill to get her car out of the shop. This is the kind of thing we need to really put our efforts into. Caring about our neighbors, caring about our family, putting our heart space out in the open for the rest of the world to see. The beautiful inner soul sparks that you are, out for the world to see. Because I tell you what, we need it right now more than ever. But it's stories like this that make my day. And she was just in tears. She couldn't believe it. She sat there opening these cards and letters and stuff in front of the reporter, and she was very overwhelmed. But yeah, we need that. Now, there's one last thing I wanted to share with you all today, during this current event thing, because it pertains, obviously. Let me pull it up. Okay. I've talked about Sir Edward. He goes by Eddie Page. He is Pleiadian. There was an announcement a day or so ago, 2 days ago, about something that's going to happen in January, according to the sources here. An exodus. And this is the Pleiadian plan, evidently, for trying to help people on the planet. Based on his predictions, the planet is going to end. That's the Pleiadian plan. The codes have been saying a lot to me, but I don't know. It's very abstract, and I don't know details. I wanted you all to know about this, because if I didn't tell you about this, it would be just as much as lying to you. And you all, it's free will. It's what I've always told you all. It is free will. And this gives details. I can read it off for you. So that's what I'll do. I'll just read this off for you real quickly. Project Aquarius, Archangel Abiel, or I would say Abiel, but he goes by Abiel. Abdonius, or Abbadon. The most terrifying figure in the Bible isn't Satan. It's God's right-hand man, the angel of death, the third and final messenger to give the last warning to mankind. Eddie Page is his Earth name, and the world elite fear him. On this blog, you will get to know Abbadon, who Abbadon really is, and what he is here to do, And you will also see his unconditional love for humanity and does his Father's will to the letter. Here, he is here to destroy the wicked that took part in helping the Dracos enslave humanity. One thing I can tell you, in the time that I spent with him, and as I said, he was one of the very first people that recognized exactly who I was and why I'm here. He sees the evil going on here too. He's definitely, based on what I know, is heavily against the evil that was let in by the Vatican, by the government, and their agenda is to take them out. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. These are the instructions for the Exodus. Please follow it to the letter. This is a Verona craft that will take you to Ark motherships. Abbadon asked my son Michael to help with the Exodus to rescue the people. He will be going back and forth to motherships, dropping the people off. He was told it will be a 2.5 to 3 year process, as it will be according to the damage of the calamities around the world that will be determined by when people will be picked up. My son accepted this mission proudly. Here is a picture of him in case he is sent to retrieve you, so you will recognize him. He will be wearing a teal-colored, silver shimmering spacesuit. He will be under the direction of Michael, the Archangel, and Elder Aziel. And I will leave a link for this in the description when I get done here. This is Sir Edward right here, Archangel Abiel, Abbadonius, Abbadon. And that's a picture of him here. If you are a newcomer to this website and have stumbled onto this information, it is not by accident. The Father has led you here. Just know that all the information is to help you get prepared for what is now ready to occur. The time has come for the start of the Exodus. What little time you have left, study this website and listen to the videos as soon as you can to fully grasp the big picture. Archangel Abiel told me to tell all of you to be ready at any moment for the Exodus. He was summoned by his Father and the council in heaven, which is the Pleiades, planet Teresus, which is one of the 7 pearl planets, on November 23rd, 2018, for that 1-hour meeting to plead humanity's case on who is worthy to be saved from the coming judgments. And yes, Jesus and Michael the Archangel went with him, as Jesus is on the Council of 12 and is the brother of Abiel Abbadon, and Jesus is also the twin brother of Michael the Archangel, just to clarify for all of you who do not fully understand the bigger picture. These are the twins, Michael the Archangel and Daniel, who you know as Jesus, born July 27th, 1947. Father sent them back in these last days as they are the 2 witnesses in Revelations 11. But the part that they should be killed and be raised after the 3rd day will not happen, as it is another lie the Vatican wrote in. This is a picture of the twins. When you have Presidents Ronald Reagan and Gerald Ford wanting to meet with the heavenly host archangels, that should tell you that this is not something to be messing around with. Our Father sent his children to be born amongst us for these last days. All 33 of Father's golden angels have been living amongst you since 1947. Jesus and Michael were born in 1953, Abbadon and Raphael, and the other 31 were born at this time to help all of you who would listen. There are alphas and omegas. They were here at the beginning, and now they are all here at the end of days. They're all they are all the bright and morning stars, as that is the title the Father gave them. Since the Vatican purposely hid the prophecies of the coming 33 golden angels from all of us, they are now going to be judged by Abbadon when he returns in January 2019. As he will open the seventh seal, and since the Vatican holds the most crimes against humanity that has ever lived, their judgment has now come. Abbadon will be making personal visits to the ones that have enslaved and lied to the people. The Vatican is his main visit since all the churches belong under the umbrella of the Vatican with their 501c3 corporations. He is making the Vatican his first target, as they have lied to the world. That's true. 100%. They lied about your true origins and much more. Then after that, he has a really thick book of names of all the wicked shepherds he plans to make personal visits to. All their days are numbered now, and that is not including all the politicians on his list in his other thick book he holds. This is not a rapture, as that was another fable taught to the masses and misdirection. This is the Exodus. I want to share the last text message Abil Abbadon shared with me, as I should edify all of you who will be chosen for the Exodus. And this is the last message. My PC is now turned off for the final time. I shall not need such tools to talk. My spirit shall be my next way to talk. You shall hear me at times. Do not be afraid to reply. Love to all. Please inform all that what has happened was destined to take place. Much love to you all. I have my crystal of Father of the Mudraki Melchizedek clan around my neck tonight. I wear it proudly. I shall speak freely to the Father, the Council. I shall try to find some humor in the time I'm headed that way. Love to you all. I hope these people are ready. They have earned their tickets for a new world to come one day. Much love, Archangel Abiel, Abbadonius Abbadon. This is what Abbadon will be coming back as, the rider of the black horse. And yes, the horse will have wings, as Abbadon will have his wings. Anyway, there's instructions here, and talks about the ships, what they look like, and things of that nature. As I stated, and it talks about the red horse and the black horse and all that, and the pale horse. So I will leave a link for that for all of you, so that you can look this over. So I thought it fair that I tell you that I knew about this, that I found out about it, and I wanted to share it with you. Do keep in mind, I'm going to look at chat now. Hey guys, great to see all of you. I want you to keep in mind, when you're reading the Bible, people aren't aware because they were not taught correct doctrine. for various reasons, between the heavy manipulation of the text and interpretations being incorrect. There's several gods in that Bible, a lot of Satans, and a whole lot of sons of both. So we're talking about several gods, ET gods. This is one of others. There's others. This is not the only ones. The Bible itself does mention the Pleiadians. The Alien Race book mentions the Pleiadians as well. I want you all to know about this because it is a possible option. I'm not sure. I know what our ships look like, and they look nothing like their ships. Nothing at all. But yeah, I wouldn't be who I am unless I put this out there for you all. So just something to think about. Like it said, process of 2 to 3 years, starting in January of 2019. But they're not the only ones with plans. So just something to think about. Okay. I'm going to read over the chat real quick. Hello, Sir Tony. Hello, Jesta. Great to see you. Yeah, the evil's infiltrated from a couple of different sides. They're trying to kill the true Christ bloodline, which I heavily suspect is my bloodline. It's Xbox with the minds of all the hybrids here, right? Yeah. You always make me laugh. Yeah, I don't trust religions either. That's why I always said I was not religious, and I rejected all the religions because I knew instinctively that what I was reading was wrong. I knew somebody had been manipulating the ancient text. I knew it. Anyway. Yeah. Hello, Miss Monica. You read today they're opening up a children prison? Oh my goodness. Miss Lady. Oh, do we get to leave for real? I'm so ready. You know, it's funny because sometimes we laugh about it. Because we all are. We're so, this has been such a long battle, a long fight for the really true heart-based souls on this planet. And sometimes we cry, especially those of us that remember what our home is like me. I know what my home's like. I know what they're like. I've been there many, many times. And yeah, you get homesick for your real home. But yeah, I'm not sure what the exact plan is, but I guarantee you it's a whopper and it's a doozy. And this BS crap going on down here, this infiltration, what I call the virus, it's something I said before. Nobody escapes this. And checkmate. So the nasty things that have been making everybody's life an utter living hell on earth. Yeah. But like I said, I thought it only fair I show you all the Pleiadians plan. This is not specifically anything to do with me or my people specifically, although it's connected in ways. Um, I'm just not sure what to tell you all about this, except for to make you aware of it. My home, well, I can tell you this much. I wish I could draw or had the time. It's been so long. I have some artistic ability. I just haven't used it in a lot of years. And my home is somewhat similar to the planet here, in ways. Uh, Not as far as housing and things like that. It's not the similar that way, but I mean in the natural part of the planet, except for um, the sun, the light level where I'm from is not so intense. It's much more. It's pretty. I've never seen it not cloudy. Um, and it's just unconditional love, and our little kids are out to play all the time, talking, joking, just, yeah, it's completely different than it is here. Um, yeah, and sorely lacking in the female department, which makes me sad. I need more girlfriends. But yeah, at least the part where a lot of talk and decisions are made anyway is sorely lacking in the female department. But yeah, I think, the codes we're talking about 2019 being significant, something about an awakening. And I was going to talk more about that in another stream, where I talk about the visions I've had recently and all the weird stuff going on. Um, the uh, it said something about 2019 being a grand or great awakening, and I'm trying to make out what that means specifically, um, because something else came up that was connected to that. But many of you may start to remember where your real roots are. Uh, but I'm not sure about that. I'm hopeful though. I'm hoping that's what that means. Um, I think there's some other really wild stuff that's going to be coming up. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know if I'll do another stream this evening. Um, it just kind of depends, or maybe I'll save it for tomorrow. Um, Talking about the codes I've gotten, about the visions I've got, um, and other things that have come up, just notes and things like that. But If I don't come back today, I hope you have a brilliant evening. If I'm not back today, it will be tomorrow. But that just kind of depends. I feel pretty good, so I might do that a little later this evening after dinner time. So 2 or 3 hours, maybe, approximately. If not, it'll be tomorrow. But I love you guys from here to the stars, way past them. We're all going to get through this. And you got, the thing I always tell you, stay positive, stay in your heart space. It doesn't mean that you can't fight if you need to, but project as much love to each other as you possibly can right now. It's just such a crucial time, and we all feel it. We all feel something big's coming. We all know it. Those of us that have these abilities, we feel it. And helping keep others around us upbeat and as positive as you possibly can is really, really important. So anyway, I will hopefully talk to you in a few hours. I hate doing this many streams back to back, but there was so much info I needed to get to you all. It was so important. Anyway, talk to you soon, okay? Have a very, very, very nice dinner time. Chat soon.